I was so dumb, but I hopped on a plane, almost drove right back to the 541. Shitty U-turn on the freeway, you turn me from a fiend to a way to you fun. I can wait in the sun for a little, but it's been real gray, and tonight it's a nice C1. I can wait in the cold for a while at the
I mean, we're big proponents of gut health here.
We are a gut health podcast.
Still nothing?
You're good.
We got
Yep.
Weird.
It was all about
Nothing
the gut,
different.
the gut health.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on gut health, King?
I think it's overrated, actually.
Oh yeah.
God damn. Eat probiotics and prebiotics with a little scoop of collagen.
Yeah. This guy, fucking hook, line, and sinker on him.
Yeah, that's
so
me.
Stupid.
Yeah, that's me. You show me a
How about you?
shiny green and yellow can at grocery outlet, I'm buying that shit.
Eat a banana. How about that?
Banana.
Oh, you're not regular. You're not regular. Eat a prune. How about that? Well, you put horse hooves that are shaved off in your decaf coffee.
What I'm supposed
Eat it.
I'm supposed
Eat
to
a
go to the
fruit.
store. I'm supposed to go to the store and just buy fruit in Trump's America. You think that's what I'm gonna do? Like drop $40 on like a bowl of fruit? Like what are we talking about here?
Get some Satsumas. They cost $3.99.
They do. Hey, for like 6 months a year, you can go pick blackberries anywhere in the
By the way, Ski, I love how quick you supported his comment. They're like, Ski, get a Satsuma. They're $3.99. You're like, you're damn right they are.
They're dirt cheap.
Everybody knows it.
You could get those bushels of cuties for fucking a handshake.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They get so many also. They end up going bad by the time you eat them all, too.
They do. Yeah.
And you don't give a shit because they cost $1.50.
Yeah. Great thing about those, too, is you can, like, purpose them for other things, too. Like, say you want to make a fancy cocktail and, get some orange peel in there or like do some shavings or something like that in a dessert that you're making. Yeah. You get like 30 of those cuties. Multi-purposes. I'm with you, man. They sell those at grocery outlet too, by the way. So I could buy all of my things there.
I actually went to grocery outlet today.
So you're pro gut health? That's good.
No, because my kid, Jesus Christ, it's not what I meant to do. My kid has a basketball game in Southern Oregon tomorrow.
Sure.
So he just wanted a big old bag of jerky and Gatorade and whatever.
Obviously.
They have at grocery outlet for $4.99 a 30-pack of 6 Oreo sleeves.
Yeah.
For $4.99.
Yeah, they do. It's tough not to buy those every time I walk by them.
I bought it. I was like,
good for you.
Holy shit. That's crazy.
Good for lunches. Like it's perfect.
46 Oreo sleeves
for $4.99.
You're catching 240 Oreos for under $5. Yeah. How do you almost, even if you don't like Oreos, you just have to on the deal.
It's principalities.
Yeah.
I got to put grocery outlet bargain market on the soundboard,
grocery
I think.
Outlet bargain market.
Bargain market.
That was somehow our first advertising would be for that. I would be fully on board.
God, I would shill for them until the end of my days. Absolutely. I didn't start going until like a few years ago. I heard about them, but I just had never been. And then somebody I knew was like, yeah, I go there all the time. I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And it's been savings ever since.
Nothing but savings there at grocery outlet.
Bargain market. Damn right. They sell wine too, man. It's just got everything.
One-stop shopping, my friend.
They got everything. Yep. If they start selling like hard alcohol, then we're in trouble.
I would love to see the hard alcohol they sell.
I have not been there. I've not been there for a while. Do they sell a Zins by the log there? They don't sell tobacco.
No
Do they
Zins
sell
yet.
nicotine products?
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. I don't think so.
No. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
You can get some E40 wine though. You can get some E40 Prosecco there, which is not bad. It's not bad. I gotta say. It's not bad.
Take your word for it.
Yeah. It's chill too.
Is it better? Is it better than the Snoop Dogg Reds?
I haven't had it, but I've heard that's bad. I've heard that's pretty terrible. And like the Martha Stewart Chardonnay, like yeah, nah. Maybe the chat's had it or something like that, but yeah, no.
I'm not a wine guy, so
yeah, it's a headache inducer, that's for sure. Like if you have too much wine, it's worse than too much hard alcohol. Anyway, shall we start? Okay. Welcome to the podcast, Alex King Ski. The Twitter handles. Tweet at us if you want to. Ski and I are on Blue Sky, so if you're on Blue Sky, get on there. You can follow us on there. TSB Pod on all the things.
I have a handle on there.
Yeah, you get mentioned by me every time I post something on there, so I think that's the only time you are technically.
Have you guys skied? Ski, have you skied on Blue Sky yet?
I have not skied. I don't. Well,
you have not skied.
I may have replied to someone, but that's it.
I feel like this could be a Seinfeld bit. Mm-hmm. The ski is not skied.
What's the deal with ski not skiing?
Is there anything interesting on Blue Sky?
No, it's the same, except less racist. That's pretty much
it.
Oh
well,
yeah.
So less exciting.
Yeah.
So it's just boring.
Kinda, yeah. I've had some conversations about Batman with Damus on there, if it helps.
Oh, Damus is on the Blue Sky.
You better believe it. Damus was an early adopter, from what I saw.
Surprising, since he lives in Orange County.
Yep. Let's see. What else? Twitch.tv/abrog87 is where you can watch us on Thursdays. What's a Twitch? .tv/ABRAWG87. Hit follow. It'll tell you when we go live. Discord. That's where you should actually go. Discord. Sports Brewery and Discord. We get our movie suggestions in there. We get our list ideas in there. And it's a good place to BS with us. So Discord. Speaking of the movie, we do a movie podcast every Sunday. This week's movie is Saturday Night. It's the movie about the first episode of Saturday Night Live that is on Netflix right now. So watch it. Listen to us talk about it. Where to start with sports? Probably Luka. Or should we start with the Blazers just not doing anything other than winning basketball games like a bunch of assholes? How about that?
I mean, for me, the Blazers thing is pretty simple. They needed to just trade Jeremy Grant.
At the minimum,
they didn't. Because I know I should be more prepared. But you want to know what? Yeah. This is 2025. Facts and preparedness they don't matter anymore. But I don't know the amount of games. It could be 3 games. But Scoot is averaging like 17.9 points a game when he starts. But he doesn't start because they have Scoot. Or they have Grant
Simons
and it just and Simons, and it just screws everything up. Yep. And I don't really know what. It's just a hard thing to evaluate because
they're sitting still, like presumably because they're like, hey, gonna make a run to the playoffs. Okay, and then what? Like
no, they're not.
No, okay, you make a run for the playoffs. Say you do get in the playoffs. Then what? Do you think you're going to win a title? No. Like, not even close. So, like, you might as well make the move, like, rip off the Band-Aid, save yourself, like, so much fucking money, and just get it over with. Like, trade him to a contender, someone who actually does have a shot, and see if you can get something back. Like, just do it.
Is Jeremy Grant not good enough that teams want him?
Somebody
doesn't
will.
Doesn't he have 3 years left on his contract? I feel like that's the.
It's definitely a money thing. No one wants to take on that.
It's
contract.
the money thing. Yeah, monetarily, his contract fucking sucks. And when they signed him, it was like, oh, Hail Mary for Dame. and that
Yep.
didn't work, and blah 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 blah. Now we're in year 3 of him in Portland, and
But I'm also like, how are we shocked? I mean, we've been doing this podcast a long time. How many years did we go when it was Dame and McCollum, and then just Dame of trade deadline Blazers was, you have to do something. We don't care what it is. You have to change something. And for years and years, they didn't. They tried to add some like real shitty piece for Dame, and it's like, that's not helping, especially when we've seen him in this position of, as you said, Braga, you're going to, sneak in to the play-in game? That's kind of your bet into what? To lose instantly? It's like, what are you playing for here? We've said from the beginning, this is a lost year. I don't care if they make the playoffs. They have no chance to do anything. This is a
they're
lost
not
year
making the playoffs. They're not making the playoffs.
where they should have been playing their young. They should have been playing the young guys to get experience and then to lose. And instead, they're playing to win, and their young guys are coming off the bench and playing 20 minutes a night. It's the opposite of what should have been happening from the get-go. And I even, like I said, they made some trades this last offseason. And I didn't hate him, like that Donnie Abijad. I don't hate him. He's cheap.
What's
That
his name?
Donnie Abijah.
I'll take your word for it.
Someone clip that.
Yeah.
Then like Tumani Kamara, they're fine players. They're good pieces in 2 or 3 years when they could have potentially built a team. But these guys are starting. These guys are not supposed to be like, I think Donnie Abijah might be their leading scorer this year. He might be their leading scorer. I'm not 100% sure, but he might be. But here's my problem.
Definitely clip that last one.
Yeah. But we are in Trump's America right now. The question is, where the fuck is the DEI police to run Jody Allen the fuck out of town? Where's the DEI? Where's the DEI police to get her? Run her out.
She's white and straight, man, and a billionaire. What are you talking about?
She is a woman. She is a woman,
She is a woman, which falls under the criteria for DEI. So where are they? Why is she? How long ago was it that when Paul died and we read the whole thing of, here's the stipulations for Jody. She's got to sell the team by here. Mm-hmm. That was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, what happened to that, by the way?
How is this she still own the team?
Because she doesn't have to sell because it's an estate thing. Uh-huh. And every year she keeps it, she technically earns, I don't even want to say, I'll be wrong. It's not that much, like 2.8 million.
I thought she had to sell majority to not be the
She
least
does at a
owner.
certain point, but it was like when someone mapped it out, it was like, she's going to own it. If she's not dumb, and she's clearly not monetarily dumb, she's got to own it through the new television contract, which has just been rehashed.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I think in 2028 is, I don't remember if it was a new CBA or something, but there's something in 2028 where it's like, that can be the date where financially, if she's looking to maximize profits, she can sell it.
Sell it, but what about being forced to sell it?
That's why
she can't be.
I thought it was in Paul's will of the whole write-up for the team of her taking over that she had to sell the team by a certain date.
At some point, maybe that's 2028.
I don't.
That's Ski's point, though. Is like we thought that was like a couple years ago was the deadline for that.
Yeah.
I thought it
was like around this TV deal. Like she was trying to push it that extra year or two to hit that TV deal money, and then she was going to be forced to sell the team. I didn't know it was another 3 years, if at best, kind of thing. But my God,
buckle up. Yeah, buckle up. She's not selling, because she doesn't really make money. I mean, she kind of does, but the trust makes so much money every year. She still has it.
Well, yes, it's a professional franchise. It's a fucking moneymaker. But again, I thought the whole thing was Paul Allen loved the Blazers and wanted the Blazers to do well in the future when he's gone. And I'm sure he knew Jody was not the answer for that.
By the way, how about that? He knew in his heart that his sister would fucking run the franchise into the ground, and so he put it in his will. He's like, I need you to like transition to somebody else because it ain't gonna be you, lady. That's wild.
I mean, we have gone over her monkey skull and her like sexual harassment lawsuits against her. I think he saw the writing on the wall, like this. She doesn't want to do this. She just likes money, clearly, right? As most billionaires do. They like being billionaires.
Yep.
But yeah, so if that's the case, if what you say is true and that's the case, why should we care about the Blazers till she sells the team?
I'm just saying, in July of 2022, so, 2 years ago, she had a statement, an official statement that said, no sales discussions are happening. And she says, when it comes to changes, the estate of her brother's estate sale will take from July of 2022, 10 to 20 years.
All right, so
but I think 2028 is the year that like she's gonna go for. I can't. It's not the new TV deal. It's something else. There's something down the line. Oh, expansion. I think that's what it is. It's like in 2028, people think the expansion for Vegas or Seattle or both could be in the mix. So that's where people are thinking it's 2028. But the estate sale, again, July 2022, she says can take 10 to 20 years.
So I guess I am not going to care about the Blazers for 10 to 20 years.
I mean, if they win, you care. I mean, that takes care of itself.
They're not, though. What franchises have won with an ownership that doesn't give a fuck? Look at Braga's A's of a franchise that doesn't.
What's weird is there's probably more than we think, actually. but I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. There's not been many that are like deadbeat owners that go on to win.
Hopefully the estate of Phil Knight is still going to be interested in buying the Blazers in 3 years.
Here's a semi-morbid question. How old is Jody Allen?
I don't think she's that old.
Was she younger than Paul?
I think like pretty significantly. I think.
She is 66 years old.
Yeah. She's got a lot of years left, dude.
Damn, women live longer than men.
And billionaires. Yeah.
And billionaire. Yeah. Billionaire women. Shit. She's living to 100.
Don't have to worry about health care.
She is Marge shotting this bitch, isn't she?
Just fly overseas, get stem cell treatments.
How old was Marge shot when she died? I'm curious.
I think she was one of those people who like she was like Curly from City Slickers. Did not take care of herself and then lived to like 100.
I don't know. I think when she was forced to sell the team, I think she might have died not too long after, because she would have held on just out of fucking resentment of minorities. Probably was what she was resenting towards. But yes,
over under set at like a pack and a half of heaters a day for her.
Oh, it's way more.
You're taking more? No. Sorry. I didn't mean a pack. Like a what are they called? Like the boxes or whatever.
A carton.
A carton. Yeah.
She died at 75.
75.
God, that's a long time to live the way she lived. Man. Must be nice.
Oh, shocker. She was hospitalized twice for breathing problems and suffered from pneumonia.
Weird.
That'll happen.
Weird.
Yeah, that'll happen.
How does that happen?
All right, we have spent a lot of time talking about Jody Allen and Marge Schott. Yeah.
Well, we're bashing them.
Yeah.
We can talk the Blazers a lot if we're bashing the fucking Blazers.
Yeah. So
we won 9 to 10.
Great. Yay.
So I mentioned it in the Discord this week. My brother and his girlfriend are Mavs fans.
Sorry, before you go on.
Okay.
I meant to do this.
Sure.
The Blazers, say it with me. The Portland Trail Blazers have won 9 of 10, okay?
Yes, they have.
3. The Portland Trail. You're not going to say it with me?
Okay.
Go
Do it again.
Nope, I will not promote them.
Count of 3.
Yep.
The Portland Trail Blazers have won 9 of 10 games.
Okay.
2, 1.
The Portland
Trailblazers have won
9 of 10 games. First of all, you fucked up the count because you're not supposed to do 2. Everybody knows it's 5.
I gave the finger
4,
point.
3. Everybody knows it.
Oh, well, I didn't see you leading the pack, man. I didn't see you being up here being a leader. Holy shit. The man in the arena catches all the bullets, apparently. Holy fuck.
Beta cuck over there.
God damn. I'm trying to be supportive
just
of
driving
the home state team. And you're like, oh, your cadence wasn't right.
Driving the bus off a cliff, man. Shit.
This guy won't even do it with me.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy's not even part of the team.
I will not promote them.
Yeah. All right. Can I go back to the Mavs? So my brother and his girlfriend are Mavs fans. They have never really been big sports people their whole lives, but all of a sudden, like my brother's always sort of liked basketball, but all of a sudden they're sort of like, you know what? Let's pick a team. Let's be dedicated to them. Let's follow them. And they picked the Mavs because they loved Luka and they liked Kyrie. And so the last few years they have been diehard. I know.
What shape is the earth to them?
I know.
Did you ask about the Jews and the Gentiles?
The
perhaps?
Jews. Yeah, no. Excuse me. Come here. Let's have a discussion. just so you know. You missed a few things before you became a fan. Just so you know. Yeah, but so they picked the Mavs and they watch games together, like full Mavs games. I can't remember the last time I watched a full Blazer game. Like,
do they live in Dallas or they just made the concerted effort?
They live here.
They
just landed on the Mavs. Yep. Mostly because of Luka. If I think if they're being honest, and so. When the trade went down the other day, I texted him and was like, bro, what did the Mavs just do? And I have not heard from him since. It has been radio silence. Like, should I go to their house and check on them? I don't know. I know. Literally, they got I don't think it's Etsy. It's something like that. But they got these shirts that they wanted me to give them for Christmas. Literally, it was hey, what do you want for Christmas? And they sent me a link. Get each of us this, one of each in our size. So they have, it's cute as shit, right? Matching shirts of this Etsy drawing by a person of Luka and Kyrie sort of walking off arm in arm, and it's cute. It's cute. And now half of that's gone. And as a Mavs fan, I wish I knew what they were thinking, but you got to be just what the fuck? You just got kicked in the nuts. First of all, think of their last couple years. They had Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, the most dedicated owner, and seemingly for the most part knew what he was doing. And he all of a sudden is you know what? I've done my thing. I don't want to be in control anymore. I'm not the majority owner anymore. I want to sell part of my thing, blah, blah, blah. Somebody else take over. Hey, you hire a GM to run the show. Cool, whatever. So it's well, fuck, that sucks. I kind of like this. And then all of a sudden you get kicked in the nuts the other day where you essentially just give away one of the best players in the NBA, if not the best player in the NBA, for Anthony Davis. And it's Anthony Davis is good. He's fine, but he's going to retire in a few years. And
he's not that old.
He's broken all the time.
You can probably say the same thing about Luka.
I don't know. It's
not as much as obviously not as much as AD.
Yeah.
He's constantly hurt, but
and I understand.
It's not like they got a fucking bag of marbles for Luka. They got an all-star still. So
I understand. I understand not wanting to do a max deal, and I get it, but it's not often you have players like this on your franchise, and so getting cheap when it matters. And letting this guy walk, who's probably going to be elite for the next decade or so, it's a man. As a fan base, it has to suck. It has to
And
suck.
Luka should be pissed too. He is missing out on a shit ton of money.
Shit ton. Yes.
If they could have waited 2 years, they could have signed and traded him to the Supermax.
Yeah.
And he would have been right at home with an extra, like, what is it, like $50 million
Supermax,
in his pocket?
Bird rights, like everything,
exactly.
man. Like, yeah. He
It's like,
lost big.
Yes.
But also now he's a Laker, and he's probably going to have more opportunities for other money. So who knows?
It's true, but I mean, he was also just in the NBA Finals. It's not like he was going from a shit team to, a title contender. He was leaving a good team for technically a okay team, I guess. So
does that matter? Like he's the replacement for LeBron eventually. Like, and he's gonna be the star of the Los Angeles Lakers. Does that still matter in the NBA?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just asking.
Is he
Yes.
going to want to stay in shape to be that guy in LA? Because that was the biggest talking point of why they made this trade. Oh, it's because Luka always comes in looking like James Harden and's got to play himself back into shape eventually. And then he does, and then he's great, right? I mean, that's how it is. Those kind of players are usually one kind of serious injury away to being kind of obsolete. Not obsolete, but maybe they're not superstars anymore. And he got lucky with his current injury. I remember when he first got hurt there, everyone thought he blew his Achilles out, right? Lucky's only missing like a month and a half, but I'm on one end. I don't think it's a bad move by the Mavs.
I sort of thought that too, and I said that in the Discord.
That's what they thought of him, it is not a bad move.
And
they should have probably got more, but still got it.
And you know what? Like the Mavs with AD could actually be really good. Like they have like 3 good bigs. They still have like Kyrie's still good. Like
he will be better without Luka and Kyrie together. One of them had to go, I think.
Yeah.
So
they could actually still be really good. I just think long term, it's a huge risk, and it's a huge risk. And like in terms of the fan base, like you're gonna lose them for a bit.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
That's what Blazers ownership's been saying to Blazer fans. Fuck them. That's all they care. No, they don't care. Like you said, Cuban's not in charge anymore. Ownership's fuck them.
Yeah. Let's see. WCP said there's never been an All-NBA player traded for another All-NBA player. AD is legit when he's healthy. Yes.
Yes. He's the second. I hate to say it, he's the third best big when all bigs are healthy. Embiid and Joker are Joker ahead of them both, and then
Embiid just doesn't play.
He just doesn't play.
I was gonna say.
I say when everyone's healthy, Embiid's very good.
So basically, there's just Joker and then a big gap.
Pretty much. Yes, that is.
No. I think AD did play like 78 games last year in the regular season. So
he's been playing mostly this year too.
Yeah.
So
all right,
I'm just throwing it out there that the street clothes thing may have, we may be looking a little back on that one.
There is really no argument how great AD is when he's on the floor. Like
The thing about the deal that killed me is, yes, for the Lakers, this is a move post LeBron, right?
yes,
So that's 1 year, 2 years, let's just say 3 years, whatever. Okay. But the people that say this is a move post LeBron, because they're like, age is caught up to LeBron and he's no longer whatever. It's like, he's like the 7th best player in the world still.
yeah. He's not the best player
it's
anymore.
an arbitrary number like that. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm not. We could probably do a rundown and really nail that one. But if you want to say he's the 7th best player in the world still, no one's going to be that like, no, he's definitely not. Like, he doesn't play defense. Okay, got it. He's 40. Like,
He plays when he needs to play defense.
and then people are still like, the Lakers they're a bad team and they're stuck in the mud. They're just like, they're like 4th or 5th in the West. Like, did I think they were winning a championship on Friday night, before the trade? No. Do I think they're winning a championship this year post-trade? Not really. But it's just very funny how we put these like guardrails. I don't know if it's a LeBron thing or a Laker thing. We're like, well, I mean, they're not. I don't know. They're only 10 games over 500. Like, okay, look at the Warriors. I'm not kidding you. Before Thanksgiving, the Warriors were like NBA betting favorites to win the title. They were. They were like 12-3, and now they're like 24-25. And the Lakers are way better than that. Like I don't know if it's a LeBron thing or a Laker thing, but
because those are the most.
I don't think they're winning the title. The Celtics, if they got there on the off chance they got there, the Celtics would wash them in probably a very uncompetitive 6 where the Celtics win 4 games by 20, lose 2 games by like 6. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying the Lakers are title contenders, but there's a very funny framing going on, and that kind of leads into some other NBA stuff where the Charles Barkley and all they hate the league, and the whole TNT crew hates the league. Like, it was just like a week or 2 ago, actually. Charles Barkley was doing his national hits, going, JJ Redick, you suck, your team sucks, and they're gonna fire you because you all suck. It's like they're not
7
bad.
games on 500.
Like, what are you talking about, man? and Charles Barkley and that whole crew. Shaq has been an old hater from the second he got on that set. But man, Barkley, he's getting a little rough.
Yeah,
Kenny Smith is always there to rein him in, but
no, but again, that's just Laker, probably more Laker than LeBron hate, especially out of that crew. It's all Laker hate.
Well, I'm sure, but it's just an interesting.
It is
little thing.
weird. Like, it does feel like people over the last couple of years have been waiting to bury LeBron. They've been like, okay, he's old, like he's gonna start to fall apart soon. He's gonna start to slow down, and he has slowed down a little, but not nearly as much as people are like wanting him to. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, like people saying he hasn't lost a step are insane.
Yeah, of
like,
course
he's lost a step.
Yeah.
He doesn't play defense except in spots, and there was like a 3-week span, probably around like in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, where he was like 1 for 38 from 3. Like, that's a legs thing. Yeah. So yes, age has caught up, but
LeBron.
Did we watch him the other night? He has like a triple-double against the Clippers.
Yes.
And it's just like,
you know what he is?
What are we doing?
He's savvy enough to know when to play D. Like, you don't have
100%.
to play D all the time. Yes, yeah.
No. So here's the difference to that. You were talking about Golden State. They made the trade to get Jimmy Butler. Mm-hmm. Like, Jimmy Butler's highest scoring year was a decade ago, and he averaged like 24 point something points per game. Mm-hmm. This is LeBron's worst year of his career. He's averaging 24.1, still shooting over 50% with 9 assists and like 7 rebounds.
What do you want?
People were blowing.
What do you want?
Yeah, now Golden State's going to be back where they were when you brought him up. Like, oh, they're title contenders now, right? Because they got a guy that highest career average of 24 points, and then they shit on LeBron for the same number.
What year was Jimmy Butler's career high scoring?
Like 10 years ago, 9 years ago, something like that.
Ooh, did you turn the volume up on that? That sounds clean. I like that.
A little bit.
Somebody's been doing some editing. Look at you.
I was in the lab.
Been in the lab.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody's
been putting that Mac to work, baby. Let's go.
Man, I pay for Nitro. I better put some work into this.
Oh boy, now
exactly.
$9 a month, man. Damn.
Oh, do we have the Duval drop, by the way? Booble's asking for it. Do we have it?
Duval.
Let's go!
Duval.
I do like that the cat comes up, too. That's perfect. Yeah.
Fantastic.
There you ask, Booble, and you shall receive. That's awesome. Yeah, it was sort of funny, like the Jimmy Butler deal, because right before that, they were like, hey, Kevin Durant, go back to Golden State, blah, blah, and Durant's like, nah, no, I'm good. Nah. Fine. I just thought that was funny. Booble says he's back on board now, and he says, go Chiefs. So, do we want to, do we have anything to talk about with the Super Bowl coming up? Like, I feel like we talked about it a whole bunch last week, so, I mean.
Yeah, what are we going to talk about? I mean,
I don't know. Yeah.
The only thing I saw today, not sure if it's true, but they were saying that cold, the flu or something's running through the Eagles locker room right now.
Oh, would you say that's a conspiracy theory in some ways?
I mean,
they trying to.
Where was Dr. Fauci the last week is the question. Where has he been the last week?
I love that song. I love that song. I can't front.
If you mention Dr. Fauci,
I think that was on
remember we were getting Fauci ouchies.
I think that's on like a commercial right now, right?
Taco Bell.
That was it. Yeah, because I heard that, and then I the first time I heard that, I was like walking around the house for a few days singing that, and my kid was like, "Shut the fuck up, dude."
Same thing. I heard.
This is art.
Saw the commercial.
Yeah.
For like the 14th time, and it's kind of like, okay, you win. Yeah. I'll Spotify you, and it's like Harvey Danger or something. And it's like flagpole sitter, and it's about climbing a flagpole. Yeah. It's a weird song.
One hit wonder. I'll take it.
Yeah,
it's so.
That song. Do you want a chicken cantina taco though when you hear that song?
I mean,
you want to know what?
Most of the time.
No, I want a double decker.
Yeah.
I still want a Crunch Wrap. I don't want the new shit.
Yeah.
Crunch Wrap Supreme.
Yes.
You get the sour cream on that bitch?
It has to be Supreme, yes.
Have to, yeah. I try not to eat any Mexican food without dollops of sour cream. Like, I'm a big...
Speaking of Supreme cooks.
I'm a big sour...
How about those Oregon Ducks?
Ooh. Speaking of being cooked...
Well, the Ducks stink, right?
Oh, terrible.
Hell they doing, man?
Terrible. They're terrible.
They're not very good.
Hell they doing, man?
They're out of the top 25.
I'm Alex Jones.
As they should.
Yeah. They got bounced the fuck out.
Real quick.
Last week they were like, you know what? This team still might be fine, right? So they only dropped them a couple spots. I'm like, all right. And then they're like, oh no, this team is not.
They're not
good.
fine. They're not fine.
Get them the fuck out. God, they are
punted. They punted them.
They did. They yeeted them out of the top 25.
They yeeted them. Yeah.
Fucking hell. We're not used to this. Usually this is what we see at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, they flip-flopped, right?
This is the beginning of the year. Yeah, I said it. They got off way too hot of a start. Dana's needs the team to eat shit for like 3 weeks, a little 3-week span.
Because they don't buy in.
This is not the right time to do that.
They don't buy in. If they don't lose like some horrible games early on, then he can't hook them. Like they were cocky, confident, 16-0 or whatever it was.
Here's a question.
He lost them.
Why can't they get a coach that doesn't need them to eat shit to have them buy in? How do you get a coach that has them bought in when they get there? Like, here, guess what? I'm going to teach you guys to shoot the basketball and how you got to score points.
I'm just going to say, college basketball is weird. How many Tom Izzo teams have made the Elite Eight or the Final Four when in like early February, you're like, they're 14-9? What in the hell is going on in East Lansing? And then they win 3 games in the tournament. College basketball is gross. Like,
Izzo was annoying. Izzo is very similar to Dana in how he wants to win basketball games. He doesn't want to win by 30. He wants to win games by 5-10 points.
Just constrict them.
Oh, exactly.
He's all about the story. You know, like he
But,
doesn't
like-
he doesn't want to dominate every game. He wants like he's like long form improv or something like that. He wants the payoff like at the end, and he wants like to meander his way, figuring things out in the plot before he gets there.
They just edged themselves until the edge of the game. Every possession is just edging themselves a little bit. Like, are we gonna win this? We barely gonna hang on. We're gonna win. Closer. Oh, they're gonna win.
A little bit more. A little bit more.
Then they just explode.
No.
But they explode like a little bit too early. Like a little bit.
Sometimes.
Like, I mean, just a couple more rounds and you're there, but it's a little bit too early. Yeah. Happens to the best of us, you know?
No,
Yeah.
And
The tough thing.
I'm done with the Ducks for a week at least. I'm taking a week off from watching Duck basketball. I'm taking time off. I can't watch this team right now.
Watch the
Can't
women
do it.
instead?
Apparently not. It was the last time I saw the score of that game.
We're done with Title IX.
Don't
Total
get rid of them.
disaster.
Yeah.
Get rid of them.
The thing about the Ducks, like,
Ask the Chiefs kicker. We know where women should be.
Harrison Butker.
Harrison
great guy,
Butker. Good
Great
guy.
guy.
One of my favorite guys.
is that when the schedule came out, like when you saw the schedule, if you looked at the schedule, which I know college basketball, people don't do that like they do with college football.
Harrison Butker
You
also
have
does
to-
a great job coaching Patrick Mahomes.
But Tommy Tuberville, hell of a coach.
Hell of a coach.
Great coach.
Pat Mahomes. Good. Hell of a quarterback. What a coach.
Learned
But
everything from Tommy.
He learned everything from Tommy.
You know,
It's
by the
the
way,
hard
like
thing is-
to Tuberville's credit, real quick, like he did like go on Fox News or whatever and was like, "But I didn't actually coach him." Like he corrected him there. But imagine if he had the stones to do it while Trump was talking. Like he's
Well,
like
you can't-
actually, Don, I didn't.
Is there not one fucking college football fan in the fucking press corps? No one just knew off the top of the head, that was 2 years after they shit canned Tuberville for being awful.
Yes,
But
No one knew that?
he went to Cincinnati,
The fu-
right?
the funny thing is that today they asked Mahomes about it. He's like,
Yeah.
"You didn't even recruit me. Like, I've never even met the guy."
Yeah.
Like,
It was like there was like
I
a
don't
2 or 3 year difference, wasn't there?
a 2-year gap.
Yeah. Like what are we doing?
And that's a funny thing, though, is that in Tuberville's like, "Oh, I didn't coach him." He said, but I recruited him and he was a hell of a guy. And I was like, "No, he
Yeah.
did."
That's
No.
classic. That's classic Don, by the way, is like he knows 2 facts. He's like, Patrick Mahomes went to Texas Tech. Tommy Tuberville coached Texas Tech. They must have been there at the same time. I'm just going to say a thing and nobody's going to fucking care.
Was Kingsbury on his staff?
No,
Or was he an outside hire?
I think he was an outside hire.
Outside. All right, I was going to say, you could work some fucking magic there if Kingsbury was on
DEI,
his staff.
perhaps.
Oh.
DEI. Bringing in
Find out.
unexperienced,
Yep.
unqualified.
Unqualified. So unqualified.
That's why Tuberville lost his job, is because of DEI. Yeah. That's why everything ever bad that's happened has happened. It's DEI. Yeah, makes sense. What were you saying before I interrupted you with Tommy Tuberville?
I kind of forgot.
Okay.
I was in my head. I was like, go back to it.
Was it basketball, the Ducks, and the blah, blah, blah?
I don't remember.
We
Not
don't
that
have-
important.
We don't have to talk about the Ducks anymore if we don't want to.
So, can I just say one thing about the Ducks before we move on?
Yeah.
Is I've just kind of perused some forums and all this stuff. And
Oh, God.
I know. Well, yeah. Well,
Hey, somebody
And
has
people
to do it.
yeah. And like Matthew Preem, God bless his soul, good soldier,
For
the
sure.
best guy on the Oregon basketball beat, bar none, has been for a decade plus. He'll kind of retort with like stats, like, yeah, but Dana Altman has won 20 games. You know, it is last 14 years at Oregon, right? 20 plus games. You're like, well, winning 20 games in a season is not that impressive. I'd rather go to the Elite Eight. And it's like, well, oh yeah, no shit.
You can't do one without the other, though.
Wow. Oh, you'd rather go to the Final Four than win 22 games. Wow. Bold take, you stupid fucker named Duck Nut 1747 Medford. You know, okay, good. But then he'll post stuff where it's like, oh, you think Oregon should make the Sweet 16 more often? And he'll post stuff like even just like the 20-year stuff where it's like, well, Oregon won 20 games 8 times in their entire program in 127 years before Altman has done it 14 times in a row. Like, well, no, they need to make the second weekend more. That is what they need to do. And Pre will post something like, well, in the last 10 years, Duke has done it and Kansas has done it like 6 times, which is the most. And this team and Oregon's done it 4. It's like, but why is Duke doing it? And I feel so bad for Preem because he is fighting. Granted, I'm not defending this last 12 days of Oregon basketball. It's been awful. And 2 years ago, they were awful. But they won the Pac. But the thing is, they won the league title last year. And if Nafali Dante is not a dipshit on a inbounds pass, they beat Creighton and make the Sweet 16 again. Like, I kind of get it, but I feel like Oregon fans have no context of college basketball. We're so football pilled. Where when they lose a game, they lose. Listen, the Michigan game yesterday, they lost. And for you can dissect about 6-7 minutes in the game where they were shitty and they were down by 14. But they lost on the road to a ranked team by like 4. And they had multiple shots to go up in the last couple minutes.
Many shots.
Yes, not good. Yeah. Like, that sucks. But people are like, they treat that like it's a football game in college where it's like, you just lost on the road to a ranked team? Yeah, fire the coach. Because we have these expectations. And who led the teams that inspired you to have these expectations? It's Altman. It's just,
but
and I get it. No. Like I get it. But when people are just like, also, I think it was K Wade in the Discord like 2 weeks ago posted the U of O's financial documents from 2024. And I'm going to get these numbers a little wrong, but they're close. Oregon men's basketball recruiting budget, $230,000, right? Oregon women's recruiting budget, like $217,000. And then you have Kentucky men, $2.5 million. Like people are so football pilled where if you don't like what you're watching on the basketball court, fine. You are entitled to that. You are entitled to that opinion. Whatever. But when you don't have the context to be like, oh, Oregon doesn't invest in basketball even close to what we do in football, which is the main sport. It's the driver. It should be the driver. It is the driver. I get it. It's 100% the correct move. But when people are like, our NIL is the gold standard. Yeah, it's up there in football. It's fine in basketball. It's fine. But Washington hired a hot shot guy from Utah State because he won like 24 games in the Mountain West last year. And every team that made the tournament in the Mountain West last year got trapped in the first round. Shit. And their collective spent $2.5 million is kind of the rumor on a great Osabar. And you want to know what UW has done in the Big Ten? They're like 1-9 in league. That's my context. Ski, eviscerate me. Beat me down, Daddy.
I'm going to just bring it up as this. Would having a different coach, would that drive up, let's say, the collective money? Because honestly, if you gave Dane all this money, I don't think he's making the moves and getting right guys. I just don't think he doesn't know how to. He knows how to recruit. I will give him that. I don't think he knows how to utilize the portal correctly. Every guy he's gotten in the portal has been kind of a bust, more or less. And I don't know if that's
lately. There's been a lot of misses lately.
I don't know if that is lack of money or if that is just Dana seeing things like, probably just seeing that maybe, they play some defense, so he wants them, even though they can't shoot. But I kind of I'm starting to see Dana right now as kind of what Mike Bellotti was. I think Dana has definitely jumped the entire program up multiple levels than even from what Ernie, had that run of a year or two, and it's like, all right, Bad Duck basketball could be a thing.
That's Rich Brooks, by the way.
And before before you go on, Ski, I want to say, in Ernie Kent's 2 best years, they made the Elite Eight, right?
Yep.
And in the first one, it was Luke and Luke.
Yep.
And you want to know who came back next year? Luke and Luke. Team stunk, bounced early in the Pac-10 title or the Pac-10 tournament, lost in the first round to Utah, and it wasn't particularly close. The second time they made the Elite Eight, it was Lunan, Hairston, Aaron Brooks. The only guy that left was Aaron Brooks. And you want to know what happened the next year? With 3 of the 4 guys returning, the team stunk in the regular season, got bounced early, lost in the first round to Mississippi State to Jarvis Varnado. Jarvis Varnado. The only reason I remember Jarvis Varnado is because Jarvis Varnado should not be a name I remember, but I remember Jarvis Varnado. And shame on you, Ernie Kent. Sorry, Ski. The floor is yours.
But Ernie did put the team back on, the American view, right? It's like, 2 Elite Eight runs. That hadn't happened since the fucking Tall Furs a billion years ago. But then Dana came in and reset it. And he's done a fantastic, as much as I find that rail on Dana, you couldn't ask for a better coach to get over the last, 14 years. I just think you've hit that point now where it's like, all right, Dana, you did the job. And now it's like, all right, now you need to, again, this is a different sport. This isn't football. If they could get that kind of coach, it's starting to me to get to that point here soon. I think he probably wants to retire soon. And I think the game with NIL and everything is just it's just hitting the older coaches harder than other younger coaches. It's a different game now.
100% correct. And I don't think Altman has 7 more years in him regardless. Whatever. But my thing with the basketball program is I think there are just issues, and I'm sure I've said this 37 times on this pod. There are issues that only about 10 coaches can fully surpass, and Dana's in the next stack of 10 or 12 where they can kind of muddle around it, where they just Matt Court is such a weird experience. I like Matt Court or Matthew Knight Arena. Sorry. I like Matthew Knight Arena. It's comfortable. The lines are quick. The bathrooms are clean, whatever. But when you walk into the arena, there's no atmosphere. Even from when you look up, and I've made these jokes before, but when you look up to the ceiling and there is the smallest Tall Furs national championship banner, and it was only put there because John Dick, the Admiral, and his family made a big stink as the last surviving member of the Tall Furs. There's just a distinct lack of atmosphere. Because if you walked into that arena, for example, last Saturday, I'm watching Fox proper, KLSR, Fox 5. And they are televising live Iowa women's basketball. Why? Because they're retiring Caitlin Clark's uniform. And they televise that at the end. And they have a studio show, whatever. And they go up and they show Iowa's rafters. And I don't know who the fuck these people are. But that's not for me to know. But they have their accomplishments up there. Right? I think if you walked into Matthew Knight Arena and you just saw, none of us care about 1939 national title, right? Of course. BC, 1939 national title. However they divvy up flags, whether they do them individually or they just put all of them on there. Sweet 16 this year, that year, this Elite Eight, bang, bang. Final Four obviously gets its own banner. And you got a Final Four for the men. You got a Final Four for the women. And you want to know what? Number 20 is hanging from the rafters for the women for Sabrina. And Dylan Brooks's number is hanging up there. And Terrell Brandon. And I didn't watch Terrell Brandon. I'm just making up. Luke Ridnour, number 13. Like, you start seeing these things and you feel like there's something here. But when you walk into Matthew Knight Arena, there's no feeling. And Steve, we're sickos. We go to way too many Oregon basketball games. We go to way too many. And I really try. Like, again, seats are comfortable. Concession stands are great. I'll piss in there freely. I don't think it's dirty like it is at Autzen. But there's just, and I don't even think it's like, oh, they have a DJ or all this stuff. They play games on the Jumbotron. I just think there's a lack of feel where people don't want to come back because it just doesn't feel collegiate. Like
They have that though. The problem is now, I mean, they sell beer now at the concession stands. Before you used to have to go to that little auxiliary room and buy beer. And guess what? Every single beer is hung up in there. In there. Yeah. And for the time, I guess it was fine because you could go in there and it was a thing. You look up and everything's up there. And if you wanted to see everything, you could go in there. But now that's locked up. You can't see that shit. And I am with you. And now with Oregon women's volleyball being competitive too.
You throw that shit up there too.
Especially when they are fucking blacking out the upper decks now, at least one half of them every game now. Black it out for good and just hang the banners over there. Do something. Because like you said, Matt Court was a fucking pile of shit. That if they didn't get out of there, it was going to collapse and kill 1,000 people during a game. But guess what? They hung all those fucking banners and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
and
it felt like a college arena.
College arena, exactly.
Yes, yeah.
Right, and like there are some things that go against Oregon basketball. You know, there's a good 5-week stretch where they're playing shitty teams every year, like Prairie View, A&M, and the students aren't in town. Okay, the arena at almost 13,000 seats is way too big for the non-conference portion, right? Like we understand that, but there just got to be something that they can do aside from, you know, the coaching changes is going to happen. Like, I don't think Dana's here in 2027 by any stretch. I do think we're a couple years away from them parting, if not even sooner. Especially, I mean, if they don't make the tournament this year, there's a real discussion on firing him, which would suck, but would be. But again, before we move on from this, it's just like not this year, but last year. I went to a game at Gill Coliseum. And Gill Coliseum is shit. It's a terrible arena. It's awful. The Beavers aren't good. They were good for like 10 years in the 80s, like 70s to mid 80s. Gary Payton left and they were not good anymore. But it feels like a college arena. And I feel like that's what Matthew Knight is missing. And people kind of but ascribe the problems to other things when it's just something as simple as, why did you not just take all those fucking banners you had and bring them over? You don't even need to update them. Just hang them. Like they're somewhere in Oregon storage. Like they are. Like they didn't burn them. They didn't do anything with them. Because if you look at like Matt Court rafters, that shit looks awesome. And they were not a good program. Like, they were not a good program. But when you just look up, you're like, man, 12 years ago? Made the Sweet 16 9 years ago? Like, it just feeds into an atmosphere that Oregon is just devoid of.
No, and that happened in the NBA. I mean, the old Boston fucking Garden shithole throughout, you know, Bird in the 90s. It was a shithole. But guess what? You look up in those rafters, you see all those fucking NBA titles up there and those retired numbers and players.
You feel like you're somewhere. Your dad can sit up there and go, you know what? I saw number 15. He was my favorite player in middle school through high school. Like connection points. connection points.
You see Double Zero up there? They called him the Chief. That was racist back then, and he was a black man, so it didn't make any sense. But he was the Chief.
Yeah, it's just that is a thing about Oregon basketball that I just.
But the crazy thing is also they are. I mean, you could call them a story team. They won the first ever championship. They have, as you said, they have made handfuls and handfuls of Sweet 16s and Elite Eights and a Final Four. It's not like, I don't know, UC Santa Barbara,
right,
where they made the tournament twice, and it's like, why are you going to hang banners? It's like, they have accolades to promote there. It's not like there's
the sickness of Oregon athletics in general being like, you want to know what? Like, if you remember the signs in the Mo Center like 15 years ago, you want to know what tradition does? It eats turkey on Thanksgiving. We want to know what? Sometimes I want turkey on Thanksgiving. Like, I want you to be a forward-thinking program. I don't want you to be Nebraska, like, looking back. But show me. I want to know. Like, this is football, but Autzen Stadium is different. But it's like, I want to know that Chip Kelly existed. Oh, Marcus Mariota won a Heisman? I want that acknowledged. Oh, Sabrina Ionescu was a 3-time first-team All-American and won the John Wooden Award twice and the Naismith Award once and made a Final Four and wouldn't if not for COVID. I'd like to see it. That Dad, who's Dylan Brooks? Oh, he's a fucking asshole for the Rockets now. Like, there's just something that Oregon, as an ethos in general, is missing. They've gone too far in like, no, we don't look past. There's enough of a past now.
They've gone too woke. They're too woke.
Sprinkle the past in is my thing. And I know this makes me sound like an old person. I'm not, but like, the field is named after Rich fucking Brooks. You know what I mean? Like, they waited 6 months to name a field after a coach who left them to go to the St. Louis Rams. And they're never going to honor Sabrina Ionescu or Dylan Brooks or Chris Boucher or whoever, Marcus Mariota. It's just, it's such a missed opportunity. And again, we make fun of some schools like USC where they're like, oh, Ray Malaluga, you're really going to have a Ray Malaluga day? Yeah, like, whatever. But it's a connection point where you probably got 3,000 fans who came because they remember him, and
remember, right?
A quarter of them brought a kid. You know what I mean? Like, there's just Oregon. I know it's deviating from Oregon basketball, but there's just an Oregon sports thing that I think is missing. All right, I'm done railing.
So Nuttian in the chat says it doesn't feel like Oregon has history, and you throw it in a big arena with bad attendance, and it doesn't build the culture Oregon needs / deserves. Pretty much.
No, well, like, even
I was thinking with that with recruiting too. You have like recruits walk in the gym, and it's like, yeah, this is a really nice gym. I'm playing for Oregon. It feels like Oregon's brand new. Like, I remember Dylan Brooks. Like, I know who Dylan Brooks is. I don't remember Luke and Luke. I don't remember anybody else from before this. And if they're not up there, how the hell are you supposed to know? Like, how are you as a kid supposed to be like, because frankly, like, basketball is one of those sports where tradition does sort of matter when you're bringing in kids and and so Oregon does have a tradition. And they are absolutely ignoring it, which is weird. Yeah, I'm with you guys. Yep. Good. That was a really good talk for our podcast. I gotta say, like,
they just need a whole turnaround. And like I said, I think it's going to be a Dana turnaround, and like I said, just
who do you replace him with though? That's the thing. Like, if you're gonna tell Dana to walk, then
it's college basketball. Yeah, it could be a Danny Turtle from Mississippi Delta. And you're like, oh shit, Danny Turtle. Have you seen his resume? Look at this Mountain Valley West.
The AD has a pretty good track record of hiring coaches. I will give him credit for that. Pretty good. He's got a few misses here and there, but
Yeah. You got lucky that Willie Taggart wanted to go back to Florida.
He sure did. Sure did. All right, shall we do our list? Call it a podcast?
Do our list.
Booble says Bobby Hurley to Oregon confirmed.
God. There's really just a handful of coaches I would take the no-name guy, like you said, like what Washington did. Oh, you won some games at Utah State? Yeah. Okay. I'd take that over the Hurleys.
That fucking guy.
Would not attend games with Hurley.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Let's get to our list. The list comes from Fender in our Discord, and it is in response to the Luka trade to the Lakers, and it is top 3 most lopsided deals in history. So that can be sports, that can be the real world, that can be whatever. Lopsided deals, transactions.
And let's say the real world
trades. Yeah, sports aren't real.
Road Rules Challenge.
Yeah, where's Puck?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Road Rules Challenge.
Around the world?
I know one of the, I think that guy. I think someone from that real world Road Rules Challenge is there, like Secretary of Transportation now. Pretty sure. Yeah.
Well, one of them's talks to the President of the United States on his podcast. So.
Well, Theo.
And he will be at Matthew 9 Arena here in March or something like that. I can't remember. I don't remember the date, but they are promoting it.
Theo Vaughn's confusing one.
Yes.
No, he is. Like,
yes.
Before we get to the list,
yes,
it's confusing because you'll see stuff where like, that's really problematic. Uh-huh. And then like 2 weeks ago, it's a whole thing where someone calls into a show and says they're transgender and really having a problem with their identity, and he just sits there and talks to them for like 3 minutes. Like, man, I really hope you get. That's awesome, man. Thank you for being so open. Like, he's a weird one.
He just had a woman on to talk about like the porn industry and like Pornhub and stuff, and how they just like goes unchecked, and like there's sexually trafficked women and underage like children pornography on there. And this woman's
which side is that?
It was the anti side of it.
No, which site? Which site?
Oh, I just saw it on. It's whatever his podcast is. I don't really know what it is. Okay. He had this activist on with him. It's like,
because I would boycott ujiz.com if that's what you said it was.
I mean, that was part of the umbrella. The woman said that one company owns all the porn sites, pretty much. I saw a little 2-minute clip of it. But I digress. Continue.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. I learned something today. So, top 3 most lopsided deals, trades, transactions, what have you, in the history of the world. Who wants to start?
I'll start. Guess what? I went all baseball because I don't care about other sports or to look up
or the world.
Or the world. I don't care about the world. So my number 3, Bartolo Colon getting dealt for Grady Sizemore, Cliff Lee, and Brandon Phillips. That was, I believe, the Expos still? I think it was Expos and Indians, we'll still call them, because at that time, Indians trade.
There have been some tremendously bad trades in the history of sports, and getting rid of Bartolo is wild.
It was the other end. They got 3 All-Stars for the trade for aging. It's starting to age. Well, he pitched another decade, but he was.
No, it's my opinion. No, I think you're wrong, Ski. I think it's my opinion. You trade the house for Bartolo Colon in any instance. He's the greatest player in the history of Earth. So my number 3 is France. Selling the Louisiana Purchase to the United States. It was less than 3 cents an acre. So, which I don't know what that translates to nowadays, but yeah.
Say that in Ed Ogeron voice.
I don't know if I could do it. It's a lot like Alex Jones, right?
Except you can't. Yeah. I can't. I do not want to understand a word you say, though.
Louisiana. I don't know. I haven't heard him talk in such a long time, so I got nothing.
Just go straight to the guy from the Water Boy. That's all you got to do.
The Water Boy. Water Boy. Hey, King. What's your number 3?
My number 3 in 1890. Cy Young was traded for a suit.
A suit, gotta love it. But it was like a really nice suit, you know, like yeah.
It cost a nickel back then.
A shiny.
Oh,
nice
that was
one. That was a nice one.
a lot of money back then, boys.
I say, it had stripes and everything. Real dapper.
Back when the spot was the spot.
Back when men were men, you could trade a man for a suit.
Speaking of men, Cheryl.
All right, threes from the chat. Let's see. WCP says Kareem to the Lakers. Yeah, Kareem to the Lakers is actually my number 2. I'll get to details of that in a second. Booble says racist Hulk Hogan to WCW.
W.
Brother. That was a great trade, brother.
And Nuttian says Herschel Walker to the Vikings. Yeah, it's another bad one. All right, what's your 2 ski?
My number 2, this is, this one hits different because 1, I get a shit on the Mariners, and 2, it helped the Red Sox. Red Sox traded Heathcliff Slocum to the Mariners for Derek Lowe and Jason Varitek.
Woo!
I mean, who doesn't need that fucking like 7th inning guy like Heathcliff Slocum? I mean, he's a game changer, really.
For a rock of a catcher for 20 years.
For a fucking pitch, ever a catcher and a pitcher. Who needs them?
Exactly. Wild. All right, yeah, like I said, my number 2 is Kareem getting traded to the Lakers. Basically, he just didn't want to be in Milwaukee anymore, and so they were sort of forced to.
So is Jimmy? So he's the original Jimmy Butler, is what you're saying?
Basically, yes.
Sure.
So they got Kareem and Walt Wesley for Elmore Smith, Brian Winters, Dave Myers, Junior Bridgman, and Cash. All right. I don't know who any of those other people are. I know Kareem was pretty good, though.
And how much cash, though, is the question.
Yeah, that's a good point. Probably like $80.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's my number 2. How about you, King?
My number 2. Robert Parrish and
Was the number 3 pick.
Yeah, McHale for
got
Joe Barry
McHale.
Carroll and whatever. I forgot their names. I forgot the McHale. Forgot his name.
Yes, pretty much Parrish McHale for.
Yeah, I really petered out on that one. I thought I had that one locked and loaded, but sorry.
Imagine though, like 2 guys who, like, were just Hall of Famers, and
they're up in the rafters at the fucking God.
They are up in the rafters, and they're Hall of Famers, and they won 1 billion titles because of that deal. And
what was nicknamed the Chief? It's still wild to me.
Hey kids, let me tell you something. Come here, kid. 2s from the chat. WCP says Russell Wilson to the Broncos. Oof. Booble says Ricky Williams to the Saints.
That was for a lot of picks, wasn't it?
For every draft pick ever, he
For
says.
like 5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Every
man.
first rounder and second rounder for 5 years. Crazy shit.
By the way, I should mention, honorable mention is the Niners trading all those things for Trey Lance.
For Trey Lance,
when they could have gotten, Jamar Chase or, Panay or, a bunch of different guys who were much better than Trey Lance. And then 2 from Nuttian, Jermaine O'Neal and Joe Klein for Dale Davis.
Double D, baby. Yeah. Rip City.
What a dumb trade.
Those young 6'11" guys, they never pan out. Get rid of them.
No, Dale Davis did have
guy.
a tattoo that said war. That was cool.
Yeah.
Just war.
He was really muscly.
You've seen these guys like kind of trying to be fucking tough guys in the NBA the last like week and a half, 2 weeks. Stewart and there was some other guy. They were John and
Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart's a joke.
Yeah. It's like, you want to see a real tough guy? Fucking Dale Davis.
Yes.
Yeah.
He would kick your ass.
That's a tough guy.
That's a tough man. Yep. That's what the Blazers were going for. Yep. They needed that toughness.
Always need that grit.
I don't need.
Can you imagine Jermaine O'Neal and Rasheed Wallace play? They would have stretched the floor, but before anyone knew the bigs could stretch the floor.
Yeah, what stretched the floor?
If they had just waited like 2 months and just not traded him.
Yep.
They started the Lakers dynasty. Terrible.
Woof. All right. What's your one? Ski.
My number one, it's two trades that happened. One was those smart thinking Dodgers. They traded Pedro Martinez, the Expos, for Delino DeShields. And the Expos
DeShields was wasn't DeShields like an all-star though? Like
I think he probably had one all-star year his whole career.
All right.
And then because the Expos didn't have any fucking money, they had to deal Pedro right after that, and they dealt him into the Sox for Carl Pavano and Tony Armas Jr. So thank you, Dodgers.
Don't rip on Carl Pavano. I mean,
I will very much rip on Carl Pavano.
Yeah, what? You know his family or something, or
I know. I'm just saying, people were scared of Carl Pavano when he was a Yankee.
A lot of people are saying Carl Pavano very scary.
He was the first Derek Jeter of dating before Derek Jeter. That's all I'm saying.
I don't see a problem with it. My number one,
pussy, right? That's what I always say.
My number one is a group of scientists selling the patent for insulin to the University of Toronto for $1. The idea,
pretty bad.
The idea was, hey, it should be free. Here it is for $1. Now distribute it to everybody for free. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Perfect. Chef's kiss. Mwah. Fuck's sake, you're dumb. You guys are dumb. I mean, they probably like
try to capitalize on that, right?
It's the University of Toronto, like it's Canada. They're trustworthy, right? Like, yeah, come on, no, they don't want money. Yeah, all right.
Throw some more tariffs on them.
Exactly. All right, what's your one, King?
My number one, in 2017, the Buffalo Bills traded the number 10 pick for the other team's number 27 pick, their number 91 pick, and a first-round pick the next year in 2018. The 10 pick that they traded to the Kansas City Chiefs ended up being Patrick Mahomes.
What did the Bills use their picks for?
Some cornerback and no one else.
Not Patrick Mahomes. Yeah.
You want to know what? It doesn't matter. You want to know? We could have said, oh, they turned all those 3 picks into 3 first for all pro players. You want to know what? Tune in January to see if that works out for the Bills. Spoiler. Yeah. It doesn't.
It never does. Yep. All right. One's from the chat. Nuttians. Ron Wayne sold 10% of his share of Apple for $800 in 1976,
God.
which is worth about $4 billion now. Ugh. Ugh. That sucks.
But
Maybe.
I hope he's passed away.
Maybe he turned that $800 into $4 billion. You never know.
Maybe he put that $800 into Microsoft. I don't know.
Maybe he bought $800 worth of cocaine and it was worth it.
Yeah, fair enough. Which, by the way, watch Saturday Night, which is our movie on Sunday. Like, speaking of cocaine. Number one from WCP, Lakers trading Vlade for Kobe.
Wasn't that one of the ones where Kobe kind of forced the hand of being traded?
No, he got traded like
I think it was
the draft day, right?
Yeah, wasn't he one of those ones saying like, I'm not going to play for you, so
I don't
trade
think so.
me? He wasn't
I
that?
don't think so.
No.
I mean, I think they knew he wanted to be a Laker.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more why they went after him. But he didn't Stevie franchise.
He didn't Stevie franchise it. All right.
And,
I thought there was.
and Vlade was like a serviceable center at the time when centers mattered. So like, wow,
Centers are mattering again.
wow.
How many battles between Vlade and like Ronnie Cycli did you watch? Man, the battles.
Absolute battles.
Rick Smiths, God, bring back the bigs,
Yeah.
please.
Rick Smith.
Oh, the Duncan Dutchman.
Touchman, please.
Who's it? What's the guy for Utah's name again? I can't remember. I'm blanking on it.
Mark
Eaton.
Eaton.
Mark Eaton. That was it. Yeah.
Greg Ostertag.
The redheaded guy.
Mark Eaton and
Yeah.
Greg Ostertag. Yeah, exactly. I think Ostertag was the actual
Bring
one
back-
who was decent.
No, Mark Eaton was a block machine.
He was like 7'3". He was massive.
Yeah.
He was just huge,
Yeah, it
but he
was
wasn't
massive.
good. He wasn't like good at basketball though.
Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. One from Booble, Dan Vogelback and Paul Blackburn for Mike Montgomery, who got the save in Game 7 for the Cubs.
Those are names for sure.
I have no idea who those people are. Yeah.
Vogelback's
If you
that guy
gave me a
that,
Vogel song, I would know. But a Vogelback, I don't know.
Vogelback's that guy that he took over for Matt Stairs. He weighs like 350. He's just like a stocky left-handed hitter. Yeah.
I remember a Matt Stairs.
Yeah. Guy's a professional hitter.
Yeah.
Couldn't you?
Yeah,
He was.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, some honorable mentions. WCP says Watson to the Browns, Babe Ruth to the Yankees.
Wrong button.
I'm mad at it. That fits.
Oops.
Louisiana Purchase, AB to the Raiders, and the Bears trading up for Trubisky. Yeah. Yeah. And then honorable mention from Booble, Lieutenant Dan and Forrest investing in Apple. Why is that a bad trade? I don't get it.
I thought Lieutenant Dan traded in his legs for fucking freedom. Is what he did.
Talking about freedom.
For your freedom, Booble.
For your fucking freedom, but yeah.
Jesus, man. Why don't you show some respect? I had an honorable mention too. The Dutch West India Company buying Manhattan from the Native Americans for $24. That's a bad trade. It's a bad trade.
How did they get that money to buy that? They dealt in slaves.
Yes, they did. Dutch West India Company. Anytime you mention Dutch West or Dutch East, bad things are usually afoot.
It's very on topic with Trump winning. The only good line from Deuce Bigelow, I think it was European Gigolo, Eddie Griffin says, we as black men owe the Dutch a lot. And someone says, well, the Dutch started the slave trade.
Yeah. Yeah. Where's Eddie Griffin when you need him? How's he
just
doing?
brought him up.
I put something in the Discord that I stumbled upon Eddie Griffin's stand-up, and he's very locked in now on Shannon Sharp being gay.
Huh.
It's a weird. Yeah. I was like, oh, 3 of these in a row of
He's like
Shannon Sharp being gay.
He's like kind of famously not. Like
Mm,
Well, not according to Eddie.
He could be bi.
I don't know.
He could be
No,
bi. I don't know. Like,
I strike that from the record.
are you,
Why-
King,
How would I know
saying
that?
Sharp is a homosexual? Are you
No,
saying
Eddie Griffin's whole thing was he's got a giant penis and wears tight pants. He's gay.
Hey, man.
I don't know, man. Tight pants.
Everybody in the NFL's, head digging their mouth. I'm Alex Jones.
Thing about tight pants is the thing they don't want you to know is it's like Yellow 5 that they put in the popular soda pop called Mountain Dew. Tight pants in Yellow 5. They shake your testicles.
I love, for one, yellow 5. I'm a big yellow 5 guy. So, whatever.
Your partners probably disagree, Cheryl.
That's probably why you have diabetes.
Wow.
Cheryl.
Wow. Cheryl.
From Nuttian, by the way, before we head out, Erica's number 1 and only that she's still sad about is Braves trading for Matt Olson, forcing Freddie Freeman to sign with the Dodgers instead of re-signing with the Braves.
Ball knower. Ball knower. Ball knower. Ball
This
knower.
lady knows
Erica,
ball.
this, you know.
Yes. Also, that sucked for me because I was an A's fan, and Matt Olson was really good, and classic A's just fucking trading him away for like nothing. So that was. I should. By the way, like my 3, 2, and 1 should be just A's deals, but most of the time it's just them not signing people. Yeah. So trading for Jeff Samardzija. Yeah. And Lester. No, trading for Lester was a bad one. Lester was awful in the half year he was with Oakland. Okay, let's go. This podcast has been way too long. Movie on Sunday is Saturday Night. It's on Netflix. Watch it. Listen to us talk about it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.